conference last 4 days, 5 days was incredible. How many awards they gave out. Again, the amount of speakers that were able to speak, how many new speakers, how many faces I didn't know. Um, the amount of volume people are doing in such a short period of time, it's like it just keeps getting better. And we say that every year, but it truly does. And I don't know another company where you can say, dude, it's better this year than it is last year. It's better than every year. For the last 11 years, we could say it's better this year than it was last year. That should make y'all real excited, because most companies get their start, and then the people at the top that have been here since day one, like Trey, like Dom, like myself, like Mike got in really early. We were the only ones that are going to truly make it. You could do okay for your family, but you weren't going to get to where we were. The way this is set up, y'all could do way better than we ever did. And our goal for y'all is to do way better than we ever did, way faster than we ever did, with less problems than we ever had. So I'm just excited at where we're at now. I think it's the best conference we ever had. I think we have the most eclectic group. We're young, we're hungry, we're motivated, we're smart. That's the one. Like, dude, those folks out there speaking, they're just smart, they're intelligent. But that isn't what made them what they are. What made them what they are and why they were up there speaking is because they just worked harder than everybody else sitting in the crowd. So, like, you can go, well, I'm not that smart, my IQ is really low. No big deal. Do you care about people? Will you work really hard? It's the great equalizer. Working really hard is the great equalizer. It will cover up more flaws than you can imagine if you're just willing to outwork everybody else. Get in the office first, leave last, work 7 days a week until you get it. So let's go through. I know there's a lot of people at conference. I'm going to go through and call some folks out, and we'll go as long as we can and let people say a few things about what they saw, what they liked, what they're excited for. And I'm staring at you, Trey. For some reason, your head is like what I'm looking at. It's big and it's in the middle of my screen. So I'm going to let you go. Can you go into what you thought about this conference, what you're excited about, and what these folks should be excited about?
Well, every year we do say it's better. It's better than the last year, and that's been true, but it really hasn't been more true than it was this year. What I was so captivated by at this conference was the fact that, like, I'm sitting next to Brent Abernathy, and people would come on stage, and we would go, "How much does that person do? Whose team is that person on?" And I just assumed they were with Brent. It's like, Brent has a pretty good group growing up. That person on your team's like, "No, I don't think so." I'm like, are they with Jay? He's like, "I don't think they were Jay." And then we start asking around. We're like, "Oh, that person's direct to Mahmood. Oh, that person's on Easton's team. Oh, that person's from over here. Oh, that person started 6 months ago and they're killing it. This person has a team of 2 billion a month and he's afraid to talk in front of people. You know, this is the first time he's ever spoken at a conference." And I'm going, what the heck? How did that even happen? And the culture has always been the best train the rest. And what Frank talked about people having a better opportunity now than we did in the beginning, that's not just something we say to get you to stay around and suffer for a long time. You really actually have a better opportunity now, because if you take the commonality between the people that are growing the fastest, there were a few things that I took away. Number one, the people that are growing fastest are building a local team doing telesales, and they dial together in person. That's happening. The teams that are growing the fastest pick one path to get started, and they're focused on profitability and persistency. Now, that path can be whatever lead type or whatever, but the focus is not the income. The focus is not the closing ratio. The focus is not any other thing. It's about persistency. It's about profitability, and it's about putting the time in. The other thing is, you can do the type of volume that we're talking about with much less writers than we had before. So when Frank said, you could achieve these things with less problems, those problems usually come in packaged as people that are hard to deal with. So when you don't have to have 600-700 writing agents to do what used to take that, you can do it with 50. Talk about team culture and a bond. Everybody's making money, and it's weird when they're not. And everybody's helping everybody. I've never seen a culture where it just crosses so many lines where people are like, we don't really care whose team that person's on. We're here to help them. So, and that really came through, I think, more than any other time. And for me, the biggest takeaway was really the Hall of Fame dinner. Um, because the people that he brought up on stage, like a lot of people that weren't at the Hall of Fame dinner didn't see it, but the one young man he brought up on stage with his mom, he bought his mom a car. He's only been here a year. He hit Hall of Fame, and it just reminded you of how much this is actually changing lives and how much people actually need it. Because there's this kind of lie out there in society that everybody's rich and everybody's just killing it because they all have Instagram and they can take cool photos. But but at this conference is where I realized, because people were able to say, hey, you know what? This is the best thing that ever happened to me. I was struggling before, and this is how this changed my life. And it just put it into perspective how quickly your life can change and what the fundamentals are that are required for that to happen, and how we are truly back to basics and everybody's on the same page. So that's what I got from it, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah, thank you, Trey. I so agree with what you said as far as it's focusing on certain things and building a base shop. I mean, that
Yeah.
some things in this industry don't change. That's one of them. Build a local base shop. It's so easy. So I don't say it's so much easier to branch out from there than to just have people all over the place trying to connect in one spot. So, all right, I'm gonna call on Schmidt because he raised his hand. It was very polite of you, Schmidt.
Like that, dude. So I'm not gonna be able to speak as eloquently as Trey did. I was having lunch, breakfast with Trey before his speech. He goes, "You guys have any paper I can take some notes up on?" Then he gets up on stage for as long as he spoke, Frank. And I was like, "Dude, that did not come from scratch pieces of paper at the breakfast buffet." I mean, great job, Trey. Amazing job. But one thing that I kept on hearing from either the keynote speakers or reading between the lines is the standard that has been set in these agencies. And I'm not one of them, and that's something I came back to Connecticut with, that I really need to change the standard as my recruiting, my production, and the people that are already working with me. So I'm not going to speak as long as well, but maybe someone else wants to jump on that, or you can talk deeper on that, Frank. But I like that word standard. You hear, we probably follow a bunch of this same stuff on social. We hear, Coach Saban talking about the standard, and different people talking about the standard of their program and their place. So that was one word that I came back with, and it really stuck in my head, Frank.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, they talk about things. Well, I'm a Ravens fan, but the Steelers always talk about the standard is the standard. Like, and that lasts for so long with them. Now they're kind of shitty, which is funny for me because I'm a Ravens fan. But sometimes that does change. But they won 6 Super Bowls with the standard is the standard, and I think a lot of successful people adopt that as what what their motto is, because it's just easy. Like, the standard is winning. The standard is getting here at 7 a.m. and staying until you present 30 times or close 5 deals. The standard is we don't quit. The standard is we don't bitch, moan, and complain. The standard is we help everybody that needs help, whether they're on our team or not. The standard is we continue to fight because there's so many people out there that need our help. There's lots of standards we have, but I think those guys just communicate it a little better, and they get their folks bought in quicker. Because when you lay out the goal for everybody and tell them what it is, then they know what, set the expectations properly. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, when
And
Eric
I
showed,
agree with you.
yeah, when ET showed that video at the very end of
Alabama.
the Alabama game, right? And they're crushing them. There's, like his wife said, is it mathematically over? I mean,
Right.
Yes, it is mathematically over. Then why are the center and the start, a future professional center and a future professional, both going to be in the league quarterback fighting, because that's the standard, that is the standard, so I really took, obviously I'm a football guy, but that I took a lot away from that.
I agree. I did too. Thank you, Schmitty. File, you're next in line on my screen.
I think, that's my 10th convention now I went to. And it's funny everyone talks about it, but it definitely was. You can just tell the entire vibe of the conference, was probably more positive than it's ever been. And then definitely seeing people that are coming here and so young that are succeeding, I think is what really shows people that anything is possible. But it wasn't just the young people that were killing. There were some older people up there. Well, look at all the people on Juan Franco's team. Look at the people that were up on stage that barely spoke English. I mean, how many people were up there that had broken English? So we can say all we want about the young people, but there were older people and there were people that barely speak the damn language that were up there absolutely freaking killing it, doing over $1 million in a year. So I think more than anything else, it just shows and that anyone can do it, because there were people from all walks of life up there making it happen. The people that didn't get the conference, I think another big thing that people miss out on is just getting around all of the other people. I saw a lot of people in our group that were interacting with others out in the hallway. They were taking other people's phone numbers. People were trading business cards. And I think that is probably something that a lot of people don't think about when you go to conference, but that in of itself is probably just as important as seeing a lot of the speakers on stage. Being able to get around coworkers that you would never normally be able to reach or be able to talk to, and now you have someone else that you can reach out to, I think is massive and something that most people overlook at going to an event like that. Like if you scroll through my phone, there's so many of those people that were up on stage. I have their number only because of previous conferences and going on other trips and then getting around those people. So I hope that the people were there took, the most important thing away is that all this is just work. And the people that that didn't make it, I kind of feel bad for you, because now you have to wait a whole nother year to be able to get around and understand it, because seeing what happened does truly change your business going forward for the good or the bad. At least, if anything else, you realize that if you're not making it, that it's just because of you. If you're not making it, you realize that it's just you just don't have a good work ethic. And I think that's what that conference shows more than anything else. So that's all I got, man.
And to your point, I do want to address one. So I was talking to Amy. I think it was at our gathering Saturday night, and she's like, I took like 16 pages of notes, which is awesome. But my advice to her, my advice to all of y'all is go through those notes and find 5, 6, maybe 7 things that you truly need to implement right away, and implement it right away. Because if you go longer than 3 to 5 days, it's never going to implement. And it's and most of us as human beings, it's hard enough to change as it is, but to change 34 things that are on 16 pages of notes just isn't going to happen. So take your top 5, go, this is what has to happen. And usually it's not difficult stuff. It's more of a decision, a commitment, but get your 5 top things that you wrote down, that you took notes on, that you need to change, implement that stuff right away if you want to see the results happen. And if you wait again, it'll be too late. So I wanted to add that in there, Mike, because I that's a huge deal. Dom, what you got?
Man, the window, I believe it was ET, talked about the window for success. That hit me. You know what I mean? I think that you have your whatever success is for you, whatever you're looking to do, there's a window for that. And I need a sense of urgency, I need a sense of urgency to make sure that window doesn't close, because none of us know when it's going to close. And I don't want to look back and go, damn, I wish I would have used that time better. I wish I would have used that transition from in-home to telesales and I wish I would have used that a little bit more and have a sense of urgency. The annuities. I don't want to sit back. Dean came up to me and said, dude, Dean, I'm taking you up on it, by the way. I had a long talk with myself on the way home. Okay. All right. So, and I said, you know what? I said, you know what, dude? All right, this is like, let's do it, man. Like, why not? Why not just say, you know what, let's do, there's a window that's going to close. And I don't want to miss the window. And I don't want our group to miss the window. I don't want anybody to miss the window. So that was big for me.
for sure. He was good, man, wasn't he?
Yep.
How about when he's talking about his wife with MS? It's like, I'm not going to accept that.
Not going to
You
accept
know,
it.
that's just like, did he just will her to be able to walk? Like, that's the stuff you think about. Like, he's a pretty powerful dude, like from a mindset and an attitude perspective. Like, did he will his wife to be able to walk? I know the money helps, but so does positive thinking. That was awesome to me. All right, let me see who I got next. Amaka, you're next on my screen. By the way, congratulations on winning team player. I said,
For
you know,
both,
how
both
am I
you
going
and
to?
me.
Yes,
I mean, both.
I said, how am I going to be mad at her because she committed to serving at church every Sunday? So she left Saturday night to get home to go to church. Because normally I'd be like, oh, she's not coming. I'm going to give her an award, but I couldn't do that to you. You've done so much for our team over the last 12 months. We appreciate you. So what did you get out of conference?
And Amaka, Frank and I, we don't even talk about the awards before we give them. We don't know. So both just pick it.
Thank you. I appreciate you both. I love the team. I like being a team player. And I mean, I watch my mom do it, like serve people. So it's easy for me to serve. I served in the military, and this is how we take care of one another. This is how we grow. We just like step in. It like we can be like 8 master sergeants, but you have your team and you're not there. I'm gonna take care of your team. So it's something that I'm used to. So that's what we do.
That's right.
So for me, I spoke about it this morning. It was eye-opening to see all the children there, the children up on the stage, making all type of money. And then, you know, they got people like me. I got like 6 of those people in here. I got my mom. Like, you really think like, so these children making money for no reason. They probably don't have no kids, they're free, they probably living in a basement, or they probably grouped up and did their own thing in a home. And half of the people on the call, you got like kids, you got your parents, some of you got grandparents that you taking care of, and we bullshitting. Excuse my language because I don't curse, but
Let it go.
we kind of like we playing with it, and they serious, and they don't have no responsibility, but we got all these responsibilities, and we just we give these excuses. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, or my husband mad at me, or the life is falling apart. But we need it, and I'm not saying they don't, because they're building their life, but we're not taking it. We're our imagination has left somewhere. For me, like how I look at it, they like, yeah, sky's the limits. I'm about to rock this side. I'm gonna make $1 million a month, and we over here like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot for 20K a month, and I can pay $10,000 in bills, and then I'll buy $1,000 in leads. I mean, our imagination has left it. So that's what I took away from it.
That's pretty good. I can't argue with any of that. And I think, dude, sometimes we don't stretch ourselves. We settle. And it's for a lot of different reasons. I think a lot of people were just taught from a little age up that, like, oh, those folks, that's not us. We're not the rich people. We don't have that. Like, be thankful for it. I'm grateful for everything I have, but I just want more. I wanted more for my family. I wanted more for my wife. I wanted more for myself, my parents. So thank you, Amaka. That was good.
Hey,
We're going to go to Marisa.
Frank, hey, before Marisa goes, real quick, that imagination thing, that's why that little girl went on stage and sang that song.
Dude, how good was that?
Like that, like I think there was it was cute, but I think we need, as adults, need to really hear that and go, what? Why aren't we dreaming no more? Why aren't we imagining no more? And the same to Amaka's point, why are these kids up there believing that they can go out there and make 200-300 grand a month, and we somehow, some way are okay with 30? Mm-hmm. So thank you,
She
Amaka.
she wasn't even scared to sing a song. And some people are scared to just talk on the phone. That's crazy. Think about that.
Very. All right, Marisa, you there?
Yes, I am. So I was actually going to say like exactly what Amaka said, like just having that childlike faith, so to say. I feel like, coming into the business, oftentimes, like some of you guys might be brand new. If that's good, like keep that childlike faith, meaning like don't put a lid on yourself. I think a lot of us put a lid on on ourselves, and well, at least I did to a point, and realizing like, hey, you need to look and not just look through one scope or one lens. Like you need to just look through a lens that just, it has multiple different ones. And it was also amazing just seeing so many different people up there, but not telling so much like about how great they are, but more so speaking about like, this is how you can do it and practical steps of how to get there versus this is how great I am and you're never going to get there. So guys, I think if you weren't there, I'm sorry for you. But outside of that, I mean, having that childlike faith tied back in, and remember, like, if the people that were on stage can do it, guys, and like I was on stage, I'm not speaking negatively about them. Like you can do it too. You just have to believe in yourself.
Agreed. I used to, the first conference I ever went to was at the other company we started at. And I'm not like, I don't want to be rude, but I literally said to Jay, I leaned over, I said to her, if these idiots can make that kind of money, we're going to be rich. And I'm not like, they were great people. Some of them were a bunch of fools, but they weren't like, half of them could barely speak. Well, like they made all this money. And like our conference this year, like it was so unreal with the way people spoke and presented. None of them sounded like foolish. You should have been the first conference I was ever at. It's like Dom was there. It was like night and day. I'm going like, this is wild. So, and to your point of the fact, like, that's why I showed that little video of my great niece. Like
that hit
it's funny.
That hit for me. I'm like, she's so cute, but it hit like you don't have that childlike faith, just like she does.
That's right. Yeah.
It really hit me. So thanks for showing that.
Every time she comes to my house, she goes into my room, and I keep my mind, because for y'all that know me, like I carry 10 grand around, like because I have to, just in case I run into something I want to buy and I get a deal. She goes into the drawer, she pulls out and she grabs it. And I'm like, give me my money. She's like, my money. She doesn't care. It's not, and it's cute because she's 2, but like, come on now. The reason Depot writes so much damn annuity is because he asks everybody. The reason Amaka's writing them because she's coming for all of the money, right? Marisa writes so much life insurance. Same difference. I pray that hit for you, because you should be writing $5 million a year easily with your eyes closed, because everybody trusts you, because you're just so trustworthy. All right, let me find who's next. Jesse, next on my screen.
Biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway.
The biggest takeaway I saw was, for me, was the sheer volume of people who were new. And I know it's kind of been touched on, but it was like, it just kept over and over and over. There's 18-year-old, 22-year-old, and then there would be this like 20, I don't know why there was the two like common ages. It was like 18, 22 were old. Like, and old meaning 40. Like it was like 18, 22 or like, wow, you're old. And there were tons of them, and most of them had been here for like a year. And so everything that's been said, yes, but also they had huge groups screaming when they would get up there. So like Andrew Taylor gets up there, and it was like, very polite. Everybody gets very polite, very polite. And then little Jimmy gets up there, and you hear 75 people in the back lose their minds. And I'm like, okay, so that's the impact that little Jimmy's made in the 7 months he's been here, that he's now hit Hall of Fame. And so he's hit Hall of Fame. He's 18, 19 years old. He has 75 of his, crew. It's like a 300, but he's 75. It's 75 instead of 300. And they're like, this is FFL. And they're going into battle together, and they would kill anybody for each other. And I'm thinking, how have they in a good way, drank the Kool-Aid so quickly, but then there's other people we have to convince to do anything. And it makes me think, if you can't get on board and we're sharing the good news and you can't get on board, then I got to move on. Like, I can't be spending my time on trying to resurrect the dead. If you're not going to get up on your own, you know, my name begins with a J, but it's not Jesus, so I can't lift you up if you can't lift up yourself. And that's why I just feel like these kids were eye-opening to me. Like, shut up, just do it. Pretend like you work at McDonald's and do what you're told, because that's all their references, and they do well. They're told about what to do, they follow the list, and they go do it. Everybody wants to change the script, everyone wants to do something different. It's like, just do it. Because you would at any other job that you got to keep. At any other job, you would just freaking do what you're told. And we think it's like offensive to say that to someone. I'm like, no, let's just do the system. Here's a system, do it. So for me, it's like freaking back to basics, do the system, shut up, stop the drama. It's not that hard. Just do it. That's what I took from it.
I agree. I mean, shit, both people, I think everybody up there said they don't associate with people that don't bring anything to their business or their life. Like, their circle's probably pretty damn small.
Yeah, their circle is their circle. Like, because some of these teams, they're moving to where it is. And I mean, it's easy for me to say, well, I can't move, I got a family, or I can't, go start a frat house. And I'm like, okay, so maybe you can't do that because you have a life in a different reality. However, what's the takeaway? The takeaway is none of them are bitching about it. And if they are, you think Jay Maska's letting some, 18-year-old, 19-year-old bitch when they're dripping in designer, driving a Bentley at 22 years old, and he's gonna take any lip from a kid who's telling him it's hard. He's gonna say, that's cool, bye, see ya, move out the house, you're gone, that's
Yeah,
it. And so
gone.
they just do it, and they want to do it. And I'm like, okay, that's what it has to be. We have such a good opportunity. The opportunity is amazing. I can tell you, you can take 20 years to get to where these kids are getting. You can win at corporate life, or you can be a doctor. Or we have Rami who's going to be a doctor. There's all kinds of jobs you could try to do, probably couldn't even do. Work for the government for $60,000 a year, do all these different jobs, or you can do what this 18-year-old's doing and make a quarter million, 300, 400, 500, 600,000. Shut up, just do it. That's what I took from.
Well put. I love that. All right, KG.
What's up, family? How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
This convention for me, number one, I was excited to be able to see teammates that I had never met in person. So we had just, only got to see each other on the screen, and we got a chance to hang out, and I got a chance to learn the team and spend a little bit of outside time with them, not just work. So that was pretty cool to get a chance to know the team. But then, between the speakers, I think the biggest thing for me was seeing as many people as I saw go over 200,000. And just like Jesse said, like, these young guys, these people on stage hitting Hall of Fame in a year. And it was just so uncomfortable to be sitting down and only hit 320,000. I'm like, crap, back to the drawing board. Like, so it's pretty cool because I got a chance to see, in plain vision, I'm like, okay, the things that I need to work on, the things that I need to do. But then also too, connecting with other leaders that have what I want and getting their contact information and talking with them personally, and them coaching me, like, not on the phone, face to face, right? Which is a big deal for me. And just the motivation. I'm excited. It was a reset for me. But also an eye opener to be uncomfortable, because the bar raises every time we go to convention, right? And just to expand and to grow and to know what I need to do to hit Hall of Fame, to get my team, where they need to be, and just to get better as a person in general, so I can be better for the team and hit these goals. So I'm excited.
For sure. You should be.
Yeah.
And I do want to hit on one thing. Like, this weekend was very inspirational. Would everybody agree?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
absolutely.
Very motivational. Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Motivation will get you started. Discipline will keep you going. So like, I don't know how if I could get people disciplined, shit, I'd be a billionaire times 20. I might even be a trillionaire because but y'all got to figure that out for yourself, whether it's through your why, whether it's through responsibility. I don't know, but don't let the inspiration and the motivation you got this week sizzle out in a week and a half. Because if you don't develop the discipline to keep it moving, it will. So that's my 2 cents. Kendall, what you got?
What's up, Frank?
What up?
What I got from
Feel
it,
better?
nah, man, I sound worse than I did the other day, man. But what I got from it, it was a lot. All the young people we talked about that, and I think we've gotten comfortable with hearing the numbers because to me, it wasn't enough excitement when Ethan said he had no money and he had 100,000 in his bank account. Like he saved it at 19. I remember at 19, I had the money that I got from graduation from high school, and I had like $4 grand. But outside of that, I was an adult before I had 100 grand in my bank account. I was 49 before I had 100 grand in my bank account. So it's like I think the young kids, what they've done is they've mastered watching the movie Boiler Room. If y'all haven't seen it, go ahead and watch it. And the movie Wolf of Wall Street. Boiler Room is the beginning. Then you got Glen Allen, Glen Gary. Boiler Room is Vin Diesel. It's Ben Affleck. They had a dial room and they were selling people fake stocks. And everybody drove Maseratis, Ferraris, and Lambos. But they were getting in there with down like crazy. These kids have the real life boiler room going on, but they're selling life insurance legally. And they're making it exciting because they come into the office, they banging the phone, they probably ringing the bell every time they get a sale. We got to get back to that. Like, that's one reason I got an office this year. I was like, I want the boiler room effect, Wolf of Wall Street effect without the sex and drugs. I want that in my office.
Just
Every time we get a sale,
that's how my mortgage business was when I was
ringing the bell.
22.
Yeah, we ringing the bell. We have a closeout week every month. At the end of the month, we ringing bells. Like, we got to get back to that as old people. Like you said, we gotta dream again. Like, why can't we have a $5-10 million a month business? Like, Frank, you've been hovering around 2-3 million too long. And I'm saying that. It's time for you to be 5 million, 10 million a month. And it's there for all of us, but we all got to buy in and believe that we can do it. Does it mean we got to go get a whole bunch of 18, 19-year-olds? No, it means, yeah, we can get some, but we got the talent on this team to take off. That's one takeaway. The second takeaway is that the common denominator was schedule and discipline. And what I like about it is our agents were there and they said everything that Kendall and Crystal and Bo have said, they said it on the stage. So sometimes you got to go and hear it from somebody else. Because you hear from Mike, you hear from Frank, you hear from Kylie, you hear from Marissa, you hear from Trey. But when you hear that 19-year-old kid with pimples on his face that you don't even know who he is, and he said, I got here because I had a consistent schedule every single day. Then it's like, I got the magic. They said I got to have a schedule. We've been telling you that for 2 years. So you have to go, agents. And the last thing I'm going to say, Frank, is that when we go to these events, this is my 5th convention. But I've been to others when I was in network marketing. I always learned that once you go to a major event, you're never the same as a person, but you got to take somebody with you next year because you only going to bring back a little bit and that person needs to bring back more because like if I go by myself, yeah, I'm excited and motivated. But if you got 50 people, you have 50 people excited and motivated. So that's the one thing. And they come back next year, everybody who went this year, you got to go back next year with somebody. And those who didn't go, no matter what the circumstances was, you got to look at it like this, that every decision that you make can prolong your success or enhance your success. So you don't know the one thing that you might have heard which could have catapulted you to $5 or $10 million. And you won't know that until like 20 years from now. It took me 20 years to get to where the position I'm at right now. And that's why I was so humbled on stage because I remember going to the stage, going to the conferences, trying to learn, just wanted to make, and now I'm here. It's because of those conferences I went back to in 1999, 2020, 2000, 2001, 2002, FFL 2020, 21, 22, 23, that now is catapulting me. So you can't take these events lightly because it's one speaker that you'll resonate with that'll catapult your business. And now you got to wait all next year. You got to wait a whole year to get that feeling. So that's what I got from it.
I love that, dude. And dude, I love Ethan. I've known him for a little while, and he is the quietest kid you'll ever meet. He doesn't talk. He's very just passive in the sense of, but he can ball out. Like you see him on a basketball court, he's a beast. That's how he talks. But to watch him get up there in front of 5,000, I don't know how many people were there, and you muted, buddy.
Yeah, to see him on stage in front of 5,000,
yes,
sharing his story, it was it was surreal. But it was one of the things where I was happy for him, but I wasn't happy that the fact that people didn't celebrate him more, because it takes a lot to be on stage in front of 5,000 people with that microphone.
Yes, it does.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot. You got to be used to it, and you just picture everybody naked. That'll keep you comfortable.
All right, it's 7, but I'm gonna go one more. I'm staring at Kali, so I'm gonna let Kali go. And if I didn't get you, I'm sorry. Like we could run this thing for 3 hours and everybody could say something. I went down the people, I saw their faces on my Zoom, and I'm letting them rip. So Kali, go ahead, share it.
All right. I'll keep it short since we passed time. But this was literally the best convention that I've been to. This is my 5th. And I think it really does get better every single year. You hear people say that, but it's absolutely true. I talked to Dom on Tuesday before we left, and he shared with me that last year he was kind of in a different place, but he went to the convention this year as a new agent, for the ears of a new agent. And so I did the same thing. I didn't come in feeling like I knew everything. I stayed the entire time. I listened to everybody. I took notes like a brand new agent. And for me, well, 2 things that stuck out. Number 1 is when Eric Thomas told us to write down when we think we're going to die. And I said, I put down 90. I'm not necessarily interested in living to 100. So I put down 90 years old. And so that leaves me, if I live that long, right? Because we put down a number that we think, but that doesn't mean that's God's choice for us. So if 90 is true, that leaves me only 41 years left here. So I have less time ahead of me than I do, and less time ahead of me than I do. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Thank you. So so that really stuck out to me, especially since my mom died when she was 48 years old. So I had to get down to business. And then number 2, with that, I need to lead from the front, period. I made sure that before we left, I told Mike my goal, I told Jamie my goal, I told Frank my goal, so that I can stay accountable for what I committed to. And so today, I started out, closed about more than $5,000 before lunch, and I closed another one after lunch. So, and I recruited a person. So let's go.
That's it.
Let's go. Well done, Kali.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I appreciate it. I wrote down I'm gonna live to be 120. I'm just letting y'all know.
That's terrible.
Lock it in. So I'll be here a long time. You ain't getting rid of me. But guys, thank you so much. This was an incredible call. Appreciate everybody that shared with us. If you missed it this year, please. It's every year. It's the week between the last game of the playoffs and Super Bowl. There's always
Frank, I think we need to start gearing up for the next Ignite conference. That will be probably May or June, and I think we all need to prepare and start pushing for that.
We will. Absolutely. I'll try. I'll get with Sean tomorrow and see if he's got any dates in mind. If not, we'll start picking one. But thank you for everybody that attended and that came to our little gathering. That was at the meet and greet. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Let's kill it in 2025. Have a good night.